Oswald Mosley was a British fascist politician, and he used the racially charged climate to incite more violence and racial hatred against African, Caribbean and black people whose crime was to fight, bleed and die on behalf of Britain in her wars, and then answer a call from, among other people, Enoch Powell. He was one of those who called us over. And to come to the mother country, England, to help rebuild after Hitler's Luftwaffe and the war generally had wreaked havoc on the British population, its infrastructure and its economy. We came, starting in 1948, on the Empire Windrush. For many of us, there was not even basic accommodation, and we ended up living in an underground shelter in Clapham Common. The majority of us searching for somewhere to live met with the signs: no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. The only part of that confuses me is the no dogs, because I thought this was a nation of dog lovers. The British George Floyd incident for the 1950s was the horrific Notting Hill murder of a brother by the name of Kelso Cochrane. And this is also the reason why Carnival should never be cancelled. Carnival should never be cancelled because 61 years ago, on the 17th of May, 1959, an innocent 32-year-old black carpenter walking late at night or in the early hours of the morning, minding his own business, was suddenly set upon in a racist attack and murdered, stabbed with a stiletto knife for no other reason than being black. The reports of his murder became national and international headline news. The police, using the same tactics and pattern of behavior that they would employ years later after the murder of Stephen Lawrence, obfuscated and played down the motive behind the attack and murder as a possible attempt at robbery gone wrong, or just general it's not my language. Hooliganism by a few misguided white youth. I always used to laugh when we would watch the news and Trevor McDonald, who was a Jamaican brother, giving the news, and every now and then he would slip into the vernacular and he would mispronounce his H's, because that's what happens. The police operation to find Kelso Cochrane's killer or killers was compromised in many ways. The suspected killer was a person by the name of Pat Digby, and he was investigated. He, along with his accomplices, were questioned and then put in adjoining cells so they could speak to each other and agree their stories. They were released after 12 hours, and the police never followed up the investigation. It is said that Digby's murderous act was the worst kept secret in Ladbroke Grove, because everybody knew, just like everybody knew who had killed Stephen Lawrence. But when it comes to investigating people who kill us, all of a sudden, they have a problem. Look, brothers and sisters, I'm going to wrap up now. But suffice to say this. You know, the murder of George Floyd, for whatever reason, that particular murder being captured in broad daylight on camera appears to have captured the imagination of the members of the human family. And now you know what we as black people have known all along. In closing, I have to say that as much as we respect the Black Lives Matter movement, we cannot reduce our reality to a slogan. We have to drill down into what Black Lives Matter really means and make that a reality.